Hello Aquarius, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And Four of Swords. Okay. You're kind of a non-judgmental person, right? I feel like you're very tolerant of other opinions. You like to listen. I feel like you like to get to know people. I think one of your favorite things to do is probably listen to stories. You know, probably a big podcast kind of person, right? Or maybe you put on YouTube and you just you turn off the screen or something, and you just listen. I feel like that is really a big thing for you, listening, you know. And I think that you try not to judge. You try not to have any kind of preconceived notions about things. I do feel like you're a little bit of a skeptic, but I think they go hand in hand, you know. I think being skeptical about things, not being a disbeliever, let's say, you know, spiritual, let's say tarot readings, right? So you're kind of a skeptic. It doesn't mean that you don't believe. No. Being a skeptic means that perhaps you want to believe. You want to believe so desperately, but you're not going to blindly follow something. You want experience of it, right? So you're listening to all the information. You're open to hearing things. You're open to witness. You're open to experience. I think that really is the best way to go. So we had a Five of Swords. The disbeliever, or the one that already believes so strongly, still a Five of Swords, right? The skeptic, I think, is the one that has the openness to witness, to have the experience, and to come to a kind of gnosis, a kind of internal certainty about things. Okay. And so I think that this is your energy right now. I think that you're in this kind of listening mode. You're really kind of open and receptive right now. And let's see where this is serving you the most in your life at this time. Well, we've got the Queen now. The Queen of Swords is the skeptic too. The Queen of Swords is water and air, right? This is an objective viewpoint. This is rising up above our own feelings. Now, it may be that I desperately want to believe in this, or I really don't believe. I think that's a whole bunch of baloney. Suspending either of those and looking at things from an objective point of view. Looking at things for what they're really telling us, not what I want to believe. We're not trying to include our own biases here, either one way or the other. Trying to be very open, trying to see things for what they are. So, the Queen of Swords rises above the tumult of the emotions which judge things good or bad, right? Is this experience of value or not of value? Is this harmful or not, right? Is this good for me or bad for me? So we have an emotional response to everything, and we can't help it. You know, when we talk about a tarot reading or a psychic reading or something like that, what is your initial feeling? Do you feel kind of an attraction to it, or do you feel like, oh God, another one of those, you know? What I really like most about this channel and about YouTube in general is when I get comments from people that say, hey, I've never seen a tarot reading before, but for whatever reason, YouTube showed me yours, and I really like it. And to me, that's someone who's really this, you know, really open, and maybe not seeking something out. I'm not seeking out something that already is going to confirm for me what I believe. I'm seeking out new information. So I'm willing to take a chance on something that maybe I usually wouldn't watch a tarot reading. But, it's here, it's in my life. Maybe there's some sort of synchronicity to that. So I have an open mind and I'm going to listen, And I feel like that's how all of you, or most of you, are anyway right now. I feel like this is the energy that you're either in and you must sustain it, or this is the energy that we need to kind of evoke in ourselves. Let's be open. And I don't think it's about tarot readings, but for those of you that are watching that have never seen a tarot reading before, thanks for taking a chance. Thanks for being open, There's something going on right now in your life. Something is being presented to you that you probably never would have really sought out on your own, but it showed up here. Either YouTube brought it here or the universe just somehow it's here, right? And it's up to you if you're going to look at it and be like, okay, I'll listen and see what it says to me, see if it speaks to me, see if I resonate with it, or if you're just going to flat out reject it, let's see. But I think you have this very objective energy right now. There's something happening in your life that's going to require this Queen of Swords energy. It's going to require you to rise above what your initial kind of feeling, your attraction or your aversion to something. Rise above that water, rise above that emotion to see it for what it really is and what it's saying to you, okay? Let's see what else we've got. Underneath the surface, more air, and a lot of air here so far. 3 out of 3 for the air cards. 6 of Swords. It feels like you like things to be logical. And when I say logical, I don't mean that they're not creative. I don't mean that they're not mystical, magical, kind of spiritual things. I just mean that they all have to make sense and they all have to fit in with, they all have to fit together, right? You get, two conflicting bits of information. The sky is blue, the sky is green. Well, which one is it? It's daytime or it's nighttime. Well, it can't be both. At least not right here where I'm, sitting. So kind of like everything has to fit together. So you're looking for pieces of information that I think they don't, it's not the bias. It's not that we have a certain belief and we're just cherry picking our experiences in order to solidify our belief, right? But I feel like you're trying to create a worldview. You're trying to create like almost a cosmogony, how the universe was created, what exists, what is here, what is my belief of the world, what do I believe, what is my personal myth, what is the nature of reality so far, and I say so far because it's an ongoing discovery, but you're kind of a scientist in that way, but you're like a spiritual scientist, And so I think we're really looking to get a better handle on what we believe, and what we acknowledge, and not just blind belief, but really the experience. Constructing our very own paradigm. I think, yeah. Let's keep going. Let's see what other cards we got here. More air, maybe? Well, yeah, Aquarius. Got to ring the bell. That's the Star card. That is the card that rules the sign of Aquarius, and it is an air. You're an air sign. I mean, so we do have another air card, and this is the Star. And I think that this is really us trying to have some sort of a resonance between who we feel we are, or what is our belief about ourselves. What is our kind of personal experience? What is our subjective view of the world? And how is that being confirmed by all of this new data that's coming in? The new things I'm learning and witnessing and listening to. You're very open in your life, right? And this card's in the past position. I feel maybe that you even were a skeptic at one point about spiritual things, about tarot readings and psychic readings and the beyond and the spiritual realm and mystical things and magic and all this stuff. I think maybe at one point in your life you didn't really believe it. Maybe you are truly a scientist at heart. And perhaps there was an event in your life, in your past, that kind of opened your eyes a little bit. Something happened that, and there was a kind of a cognitive dissonance. Something it didn't fit into what we thought was the world. There was now a piece in there that was like that doesn't fit with the rest of the pieces. And so maybe that started you. I feel like the star card's talking about when you started your spiritual journey. What was that moment like? I feel like it was kind of almost a shock. It almost was, maybe there was a supernatural experience or a spiritual experience, a synchronicity, some kind of mystical thing. Something really kind of rocked you a little bit, and it challenged the current paradigm or your current worldview back then. I wonder if something like this is happening again. This is your superpower card. And I think your superpower is to allow things to come into you and allow them to change you, allow them to help you evolve, allow them, a lot of the time we get a piece of data, and if it doesn't fit into our current worldview, we reject it. Well, that doesn't belong in there, but not you. I feel like when you get something in you that's challenging you, it's like sand in an oyster or whatever it is. It's going to help you to grow, right? That we want to learn different facts. I want to have two conflicting forces within me. Not so much that I have to choose, but maybe find a way to reconcile them. How can the sky be blue and green at the same time, right? Or how can it be night and day at the same time right here where I'm sitting? So I feel like the star is really, it's a very important spiritual practice for you. I feel more than it being a spiritual practice, it's like you're very much, almost even in like an academic way, but in a very Gnostic way, in a very experiential way. You're an esotericist, right? And let's keep going. I wonder if we're going to continue with the air cards. No, we finally have the Hierophant now. And I feel like the Hierophant is maybe something current going on, that there's a current structure, a current institution in your life. This is a current, let's say, worldview, the Hierophant. It's up above the top. It's at the top of the path of the dove. Maybe this is something that's currently a structure in your life, an institution, a belief, a worldview, a paradigm. And I think we're looking at it like it's a limitation. Yeah. Like this is a point where we're kind of stuck, and maybe we're stuck because something new that we're experiencing really we don't know how it fits into our larger life or into this kind of, this vision of reality that you have. Okay, this is something that's kind of stuck. This is something that's it's an obstacle or a gatekeeper, or this is something that's telling you what to believe. And I feel like you're experiencing something different. This could be you maybe at odds with yourself or with your family or your friends, right? But it's at the top of the path. This is something that you're focused on. And maybe this is even you realizing that at some point you're going to become a bit of a teacher of these things. It's almost like you don't see anybody out there doing it right, so you got to go do it. Yeah. It's like the world needs something, and who better than me, right? So I feel like this is you kind of, I feel like your life's changing in a major way. I feel like you're stepping into a role that you never wanted to do, that maybe you don't even believe in, like that kind of institution. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's some sort of education, or it's a spiritual school or religious thing, or I don't know, mystical school, magic school, a fraternity, an order. I feel like if somebody has to do it, it might as well be you. And this could literally be like taking a teaching position somewhere, or just moving into a more of a teaching role in your life, even just in your personal life. Okay. I'm feeling like this is something that's meant to help other people in a way that you didn't have that kind of help It's like, oh, if I would have known then everything I know now, would have been easier. I feel like you had to kind of reinvent the wheel for yourself. And this is you now teaching others about the wheel. Maybe is it the Wheel of Fortune? Let's see. No, it's the Libra energy, the Justice card, the adjustment. To me, this is discernment. This is you teaching people how to think for themselves. This is you, I think, teaching people how not to rely on people teaching them. It's a weird paradox, right? It's somebody telling you how to think what to think. Or, teaching you how to think for yourself. And it's a weird thing. But there's a need for that. There's a need for you to be that kind of person. Maybe it's just to your friend or your child or, to a small group of people. Or maybe it's a larger teaching role or something like this. Maybe you're starting a class or you're starting a YouTube channel. You have this, I feel like you have this voice. And you're using it in some way. And it's one of those weird paradoxes. I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase it. But trying to teach somebody how to think for themselves, right? And it's kind of an oxymoron, right? It's like something I heard last night where it was just like, I just need you to shut up and ask the right questions. Well, how can I ask? I'm supposed to shut up. How am I supposed to ask the right questions? I don't know what you want me to do, right? So it's kind of like, there has to be a system set up to teach people how to form their own systems, right? So it's kind of like we need the order, we need the structure, we need the almost the doctrine and the dogma in order to create the innovation and the genius and the transcendence. You see, so it kind of is like someone who's teaching people how to think logically, so that they can go and think for themselves and make their own worldview. So it's a strange thing, but there's discernment here with the Libra energy, with the Justice card, and this is the ability to weigh things. A lot of air energy here. This is all air energy. Okay, the Justice card is air. It's the Libra card, and of course your power card. And I think it's your power, really, like I said, to digest everything that comes into your consciousness and use it as sand in the oyster to create your pearls of wisdom and experience. And now it's kind of time to figure out. I think this is a life change. I think you're moving into this kind of a role, which I feel is a role that you in some ways despise, but it's kind of, you're seeing the necessity of it, so long as you're teaching people the right way to do it. And again, it's that silly paradox. You're teaching people the right way to think for themselves, and it doesn't make sense. But it's like the only way, But the Libra energy is to, I think, teach people how to judge things for themselves. But it's, again, with the paradox. But it's discernment. It's being able to judge the information that we have, to see the relative value of something. Now, we're not judging something's intrinsic value. I'm not trying to say that is the truth and that's the truth for everybody. That is something that is worthwhile for everybody in all places and all times. That's something that has value all by itself, rather than in the context of my life, I value that and not that. It's that judgment. It's being able to weigh the information and say what's the information that resonates with me more. It doesn't mean it's going to resonate with everybody else. So you're not teaching people what is real and what is true. You're teaching them how to figure it out themselves. Okay? And I don't know how you're doing that. If it's through work, if it's through school, if it's through your art, your creativity, maybe through your music, or just through your interactions, your conversations with people. Okay? This is very good. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right down over here. We're going to put Jimbo the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Now, we're going to do the Path of the Serpent. As we do this, of course, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Okay, general energy. Path of the Serpent is more air energy. Of course, this is a crazy reading. So much air energy, and then a little bit of earth. But this, I think, is your general energy, your willingness to do things that make you uncomfortable. In other words, this is you being open to a lot of different opinions. I want to talk to people that think differently than I do. This is kind of why you like people to give you constructive criticism. You don't want people to be mean. You don't have to be insulting. You don't have to be unkind. I don't need you to be nice and sugarcoat it either. But I want to hear the criticism. I want to hear something that you disagree with. And so I feel like this is your general energy. You don't want people to agree with you. You want people to think for themselves. I feel like in your relationships, in your life generally, your personal life, you don't want to be around just a bunch of like yes people. You want people that are going to tell you, no, I don't think that's right. I disagree with you. I don't think the world is round or whatever. It sounds absurd, but, you know, let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation, you know. And I feel like you're doing so in a way where you don't get offended. You're able to hear these different opinions. You know, the sky is blue. No, the sky is red. Well, let's talk about it. Let's explore that, you know, logically, philosophically, experientially, you know, without fighting, without getting angry, you know, without getting into those emotions. That's why the Queen of Swords is so important. I feel like this is you you love to be challenged in that way. And if things are too easy for you, I feel like you lose interest. Let's see what the next card is in the environment. There we go. 5 of Swords. More air energy. God, this is really a crazy reading. This is the 5 of Swords. To me, it's intellectual stimulation, really. This is us. We have the 6. We have our worldview. This is the challenge to our worldview. It's not always going to be this kind of harmony. I have all the answers. The world is perfect. My understanding of the world is perfect. My experience is flawless. No, there's challenge. There's discord. There's arguing. There's debate. There's discussion. There's conversation. In the attempt to reach a harmony, reach an agreement, reach a consensus, and then argue about it some more. And then reach this state of resonance and harmony, and my worldview makes sense now. Oh, but here's a new piece of data. That doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? And then we get back to the 6. This is what intellectual life is. 5 to a 6, sometimes to a 7, back to a 6, then a 5 again, a 6, a 5. It's always an attempt to get the harmony. The 6, all about harmony. In order to achieve, this is kind of the ideal harmony that you want, but it's underneath the surface. It's that internal idea, and we wish to replicate it. But out in the environment, see these 2 cards, the positions are very connected in the Dove and Serpent spread. This is what's within you. This is kind of this is the picture that's written in your soul of what you want, really. This is what you get. Okay, but this is done with love. This card is all about love. This card is Venus in Aquarius. It's your love of, not your love of truth necessarily, but your love of knowledge, of learning, of wisdom, of discussion, of debate, of transcendence, of the dialectic itself. Yeah. In an attempt for the Mercury in Aquarius that we have here, the full and complete understanding, the wisdom and the true understanding of the paradigm of life, of existence, of philosophy. I mean, you're the natural philosopher, for sure. What is the next card in the position of the difficulty? Well, the difficulty is Major Arcana Chariot card, water energy. So we think of the water energy, that's the emotions, right? It's the Cancer card. It's the water energy. The challenge is overcoming those fixed beliefs. The Chariot is the card that is so devoted, so obedient, right? So committed to an idea, to a reality, to a picture, to a paradigm, that it's gonna fight to defend it, no matter what. Okay, so this is kind of that, almost that rigid worldview that we need to, that we're trying to evolve that in ourselves. It's a spiritual work for you, and I feel like that's the challenge. That's the work at hand. Is overcoming the box that we put ourselves in, the box of our beliefs, and we think, I'm going to defend this belief no matter what, even when there's a lot of other facts, a lot of other things. And facts I don't mean as being absolute truth. I just mean other data, right? Other things coming in. The Chariot is a wonderful card. It's my power card. I'm a solar Cancer. This is my power card, right? Believing in something no matter what. Being willing to defend a belief no matter what, or a feeling, And sometimes this kind of devotion is what we need in life. Sometimes this is the challenge to be overcome. That I am so glued to something emotionally that I'm willing to ignore any other data coming in. Sometimes that's a very good thing. Sometimes not so much. I think in your case, this is what we're trying to either teach others, or what we're trying to overcome in ourselves, is getting over this kind of rigid, obedience or belief in something. Let's do one more card. More air energy. Well, of course. We have water and earth, right? We have the commitment to a feeling, to either an attraction or an aversion to something, and we think it's gospel. This is kind of what we don't want, and this is what we're trying to perhaps challenge within ourselves, trying to philosophize about it, or this is what we're trying to teach others to kind of to open up our minds a bit, right? But these two cards together represent that fixed belief in something. That we have an attraction or an aversion to something, and it's gospel. Well, now we've got the Prince of Swords, air and air. Both things, right? Air and air. Information and information. It's communication, for one thing. And I think really it's a couple things. It's your ability to argue both sides of any point as a way of balance. That you can argue any side of any particular issue, probably on the debate team, all that stuff. I mean, it's something that you're good at. And I feel like this is a big change coming in your life, because I feel like this is some kind of a new thing that I feel like you're starting something new in this energy. So if it's a new, I don't know, maybe it's a job, a career, maybe I feel like you're kind of choosing to go into some sort of teaching thing. Right? I don't know exactly what. But this is your ability to also to hold two opposing beliefs in mind at the same time. The sky is both red and blue right now. Or the sky is neither red nor blue. There is no sky. I don't know. This, I think, really is the versatility of your thinking. I think this is really your energy right now. I don't know exactly what you're doing with it, but it's very significant. And this was crazy. This is a lot of air energy. What is the mystery card? Is it going to be more air? I can hear my daughter saying, "Dad, is that going to be another air card?" Yes, dear, probably will be, but maybe not. Maybe it's going to be an Ace of Swords, but maybe an Ace of Cups. Maybe showing, I want some water energy, honestly, some cups. I want any kind of cups, just to show that the reason for all of this is love. It's not because you just like to argue. No, there's a love of the universe, a love of truth, a love of people, a love of connection, a love of evolution, right? Spiritual evolution. Let's see what it is. The moon. I think for you, it's the love of discovery. I think it's the love of experiencing something new. It's the love of kind of being challenged with what I believe, or the love of kind of the mystery of the universe, right? The love of stepping into the darkness and figuring out what's there. The love of transcending. Yeah. And I think this is a spiritual thing for you. You are the natural born philosopher. And I think it's because there is a love, for wisdom, right? Philosophy, right? That's what it is, right? The love of Sophia, the love of wisdom. Trying to get to an ultimate truth, a universal truth that you probably can never find. But it's the process of doing that I think has given you such pleasure and inspiration. And really, I feel that it's either a significant life change in terms of your focus or your career or your path, your pursuit in life, or it's a significant change in your personal philosophy. But I think there is a major life change happening for you right now, and it's in some way related to all this kind of philosophizing, okay? We are going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Aquarius, Thursday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.